Okay, here's another work problem, and we had something like this, but we didn't have any fractions, and this might throw you, so I wanted to go over this. So if you look at number 100, which we did for homework, let's just change the 4 hours to 4.5 and the 5 hours to 8, because I couldn't find any other examples that had fractions in them, and you do have a fraction on your homework. I don't want that to throw you. So take a look at number 1 and just cross out 4 and make it 4.5 hours, and cross out 5 and make it 8 hours, and let's do the job like this, and we'll see how we can handle the fraction. So it says Lupo can do a job in 4.5 hours, that June can do the job in 8 hours. How long will it take them to do the job if they work together? So this is kind of like number 89 that you're going to have to do. So let's get to work on this. So we're going to use again, rate times time and fractional part problem. Let me do this over here. I'll use this table over here. I've already got this one set up. Move this over like this. So we've got the same idea. Rate times time equals the fractional part. And the whole job will add up to be 1, so these will add up to be 1 whole job. And we got Lupa and June. And it says Lupa can do, well, June, let's do June first. June can do the job in 8 hours. June can do the job, or does the job in 8 hours. All right, so her rate, June's rate, she does a job in 8 hours. In 4 hours she does 4/8. In 1 hour she does 1/8. So her rate is equal to 1/8 of the job per hour. In 8 hours she does the whole job. In 4 hours she does half the job. So her rate would be 1/8. Okay, now this is the tricky part. Lupa can do the job. I'll do this in red, I guess. Yeah, we'll do it in blue, I guess. So Lupa, or Lupo I should say, Lupo does the job in 4.5 hours. So what's Lupo's rate? Well, if it takes her 4.5 hours to do the job, her rate would be 1/4.5. Well, that seems like a little bit odd, because it's a little bit easier to understand 1/8 rather than 1/4.5. But we just take the time she takes to do the whole job and just put in the denominator of a fraction with 1 on the top, and we get the rate per hour. So that's her rate, or his rate, by rate, I guess, Lupo's rate. So it's 1/4.5. In other words, in 4.5 hours, Lupo would do the 4.5 over 4.5 for the whole job. All right. In 2 hours, it'd do a little less than a half. In 2.25 hours, it'd do a half. So that's the whole idea. But this is going to be hard to deal with, so let's just make it into a fraction. So it's real easy to take care of this, because I can just multiply the top and the bottom by 2. And I'll have a whole number in the bottom. So that's going to just equal 2/9. So that's Lupo's rate, 2/9 per hour. So that goes up here. So that's how you would deal with that. Now it said how long would it take them to do the job if they work together. So they're both going to work X. So this multiplies across. So this is going to be 2x/9. And that's the fractional part of the job that Lupo does. And this is going to be x over 8, excuse me. 1 times x is x, so x over 8 will be the fractional part of the job that June does, and if we add that up, we get 1. Okay, so you can write your equation over here from that third column. That's where we get the equation. 2x over 9 plus x over 8 equals 1. What's the least common denominator? It looks like it's 72. So multiply both sides by 72. And 9 goes into 72 8 times. And 8 times 2 is 16. So 9 goes into 72 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16x. 8 goes into 72 9 times. 9 times x is 9x. And that equals 1 times 72 is 72. So if you multiply that out, again, 9 goes into 72 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 goes into 72 9 times. 9 times x is 9. That's 25x equals 72. And divide both sides by 25. And x equals, and 25 goes into 72 twice, is 50, and 22 25ths hours. So it would take them 2 and 22 25ths hours, and you could convert that to minutes if you wanted just by multiplying 22 over 25 times 60. Okay? So that's how you handle the fraction. Just do something like this. So I hope that makes sense.